Who's ready for example 2? I am. So I know you guys are. Let's get going. So example 2, again, the first thing that you always try to factor out before you try any factoring technique is to look for a GCF. Do you guys spot a GCF in the problem? I see it to you guys. So let's identify the GCF first, and after that, if we can still factor, which I hope so because we love to factor, we will keep factoring if that is the case. Okay, so the GCF, I'm going to look at each of the coefficients, or each of my numbers first. What is the largest number that will divide into 2 and 18? You guys are correct, like normal. It would be a 2. Okay, and each of my terms do not contain an x, so I cannot include an x in my GCF. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to write my GCF out in front, and I'm going to divide each term by the GCF. Okay, so let's get started on that. So, 2 divided by 2, well, that will cancel out and turn to 1. So I could write 1, but you don't have to. And then I don't have anything to divide my x squared by, so I'm just going to bring it on down. Okay, and then after that, negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. So I'm going to have a negative 9. Okay, so we have factored out the GCF, which, if it used to be one of our other problems, we would be done at this point. But every single time you factor out the GCF, what you need to do is you need to look inside of your parenthesis, and you need to ask yourself, can I keep factoring? Well, let's look at this specifically. This x squared minus 9. X squared minus 9. Okay, so I have 2 terms. I am subtracting, and each term I can square root. So which factoring technique am I able to use on what's left over in my parenthesis after I factored out the GCF? Man, you guys have nailed it yet again. Okay, I can use a difference of 2 squares. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and write my GCF down here because everyone usually, if they're going to forget something, you're going to forget to write your GCF. Okay, which the GCF is your bestie. He's your best friend. Don't forget about the GCF, you guys. It's your bestie. Okay, you always need to write the GCF at the very front of your final answer, so don't forget about your GCF. Okay, so when we factor using a difference of 2 squares, okay, what you're going to do, you're going to square root the first term and the last term, but don't forget, you do not include the negative when you are square rooting the second term. Okay, so I'm going to square root the x squared, which the square root of x squared is x, correct? And then I'm going to square root the 9, because remember, I'm ignoring the negative. Okay, the square root of 9, what times what gives me 9? Holy hot dog, you guys, it is a 3. Okay, so after you square root the first and last term, all you have to do is one time you're going to add your a and your c terms, and then one time you're going to subtract, and then you're done. So one time I'm going to add the x and the 3, so x plus 3. And one time I'm going to subtract them, so x minus 3. And then don't forget to write your GCF at the front. And guess what, you guys? That's it. Nice work.